Hello, everyone. This is Ross from Retro Dream Beam. I'm an eBay seller full time. I've been doing this with my fiance Annetta for more than 3 years now. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm about to go into what we are shipping out today on Wednesday. Pretty good day. A lot of chunky sales. I think we almost got to like the $500 mark. It was like a couple dollars short. Obviously, we have people pay for shipping, and I'll get into that in just a moment. So, like, the chart number is going to include that. But really good weekday. Honestly, in the past, I don't know how many months, but like our better days have been on the weekdays than the weekends. And all the other years we've done eBay, it was always the weekends were better. So it's just been really weird. We'll take it, obviously. All right. So the first thing is this. I don't know if I'm going to say this right. It's a manga that I've never read before. This is Sayuki Reloaded Kazuya Minakura. I probably butchered half of that. Got a bunch of manga books a bit ago. They're still like slowly selling. This is like the Tokyo pop brand. They're pretty popular for, I think, publishing these mangas. This is volume 1, sold for $9 plus shipping. Like I said, everything's going to be plus shipping. All right, next up is going to be something that I listed yesterday and I was not aware of. So it's from this card game called Universes right here. And on the front, it's like Survey Corps, Hope of Paradis right here. So this card game, apparently, when I looked it up, so this is a free RPG Day promo from 2025. I went to a place to get some free RPG Day stuff, and then picked up some like board games and stuff for myself. But yeah, I was able to pick out a couple things. There's a lot of cool stuff. This card happened to be, I'm like, oh, I've never seen this before, so I just wanted to dig into it. Ended up selling for $18. But yeah, this Universes is, I think, a kind of semi-newer game where you're playing with a bunch of different cards from different universes or different IPs. This one is from Attack on Titan. That's actually technically the only anime that I've ever watched. I think I watched, I don't know if they call it seasons, but I watched season 1 and then I watched a little bit of season 2. It was kind of like creepy, really creeped me out. But yeah, I understand why people get into anime and manga and all that stuff. But yeah, this is one of the few things that I watch. I don't remember much of it. It was a bit ago. But yeah, this card, promo card foil, sold for $18. So apparently, like, the game's doing pretty well. There weren't too many listed for this particular one, probably because people who went to the free RPG Day probably were grabbing the cards to use them in their decks. All right, next up is going to be this Incomplete Deadlands. This is going to be, I believe, the collectible card game. There's going to be, this is supposed to be like a starter deck. It's called like Best Game, sorry, Pine Box right here. So it just has the cards in it. The cards are still mostly sealed. It had like a seal rip on the top. But yeah, Deadlands and like Doomtown is going to be this like Wild West card game that there's been different ways and different companies that have made this game or produced it, and there's different ways to play it, but you're essentially playing Wild Wild West. You're using your cards, which are going to be playing poker, but of course the cards let you cheat the rules and the decks and stuff like that. So it's really Wild Wild West themed. This ended up selling for to a repeat buyer for $12. That was one where like I was asking more for it, got like a really low offer. I countered kind of still closer to mine, and then they went still like lower on their end, and then Aneta was okay with that type of offer. So I was like, yeah, it's okay. We'll get rid of it. Repeat buyer, at least, like, they'll be happy. So they'll appreciate it. All right. Never played the game, but I did have Doomtown Reloaded, which was, I think, by Fantasy Flight Games. All right. Next up is going to be this Pokemon Eevee Costco tin, like 3-pack. You have the treasure chest. This one's the Great Ball, which has some booster packs in it, and it's also a storage container afterwards. It has some Eevee promos right here. Then you also have the Pokeball right here. So yeah, this is from 2021. Bought like 10 or 20 of these. This was not when this was like a Costco where there wasn't many people like fighting each other like they are these days. So these are gonna have booster packs in here mostly is what the people are gonna grab them for. I think they're gonna have like some of the not evolutions. Oh, it's, I always forget it. The Eevee one. Oh my goodness, I'm just drawing a blank right now. Sorry guys, it's been a while. Like I said, I got this in 2021. So this sold for $97.49, which is weird because right before this sold for our asking price, there was some that sent like it was like $52 and some change. So they were probably trying to get to like an even amount after taxes and shipping. I saw that they were from California. I end up countering closer to what I think I countered at like 90 because that's what we got last time for it. And I said in the message like, hey, I'm sorry, I know like you're in California, so the shipping is going to be more expensive. This thing is like kind of big and ridiculous. It's the shape that adds most of the shipping cost. It, like, the weight is probably a couple pounds, which is not a big deal because if something's like a couple pounds and like this size, it's still a little bit more expensive, but not a big deal. But yeah, but then they end up countering at 70, and then Aneta saw the offer. Oh, sorry, they countered at 60, so they only went up by like $8 or something, and some, or 7 and some change. And then Anetta's like, okay, well, let's counter at 70. Let's go like straight in the middle. And then she sent a counter for 70, and then that offer got declined, but then like 2 seconds later someone bought it for 97.49. I have another one, so I relisted it. I always have to take new pictures because the pokeballs can be different. The packs are still going to be the same inside of them, just like the storage containers are going to be different. People care about that. It's really cool that they have the pokeball tins. They can use them. I'm not sure which ones you can or can't use as deck boxes, but they definitely hold cards and tokens. And man, if when I was a kid, if they had these like pokeball tins, those would have been super cool. We just had to deal with like deck boxes back then. All right, not even like crazy good ones. Moving along, we have a Choose Your Own Adventure book. This is the Water Spider right here. It's like a little mystery one. Super cool. Got a bunch of these Choose Your Own Adventure books a bit ago. A lot of them were actually, I think, from the UK, which is cool for us here because there's not going to be many American sellers selling these. So there's a lot of them I'm asking a lot for, or like more than like a normal book, just because it'll be like I'm the only USA seller. Everyone else is going to be from like UK or somewhere else. This one went to repeat buyer for $26.24. Annette and I love storying games. We really think that that's what ties like a video game or a board game or something together. We just really love it. And then she also loves the murder mystery, and I also like puzzles. So like it's really cool that someone's gonna appreciate it. And I know exactly why people appreciate this type of like puzzle game. Annette does as well. So yeah, it's just pretty cool that there's always like cool puzzle games and stuff to enjoy and consume. All right. Next up is going to be a complete deck of 52 cards. This is the damage deck for Star Wars Armada. I got a bunch of Star Wars Armada bits and pieces. If you get like the sealed expansion sets, if you get the base set, if you get anything else, it's actually like really expensive. It's a really cool game, and a lot of people who play it like to collect these big armies. So what it is a 2-player board game by Fantasy Flight Games. I think they completely stopped supporting it some time ago. I'm not too sure like how vintage it is. It's probably like older than I think, because I still have the memories in my head. But yeah, Star Wars, where you're gonna play a bunch of big fleets, like these bigger ships. You'll have all these like cards and abilities. You have points, and then someone else is gonna set up on their side of the table. They're gonna play the other factions, like Rebel versus the Empire. So yeah, a lot of cool fun. People do love collecting this, and it also doesn't take up too much space because these miniatures for the Armada are super tiny. Even like the big ships and like the little fleets are like that, so it's easy to store, and a lot of people do enjoy it. $11.99 just for the damage deck of cards. So this is like, I think this is when a ship gets critically hit. You flip over one of these and it tells you like, oh, what happened to like the sensors or like the weapons or what dice, and now maybe there's some messed up movement on them. Super fun game. All right, I had a base copy at one point when the game first came out. I learned the rules. I just didn't have anyone to play with, but like I absorbed the rules at the time. Most of the rules are gone. I just know the core concept. All right, next up we have a repeat buyer. This is the person that I talked about last week, where they let me know what the brand of these miniatures were. I got a bunch of these 2mm miniatures. They were by a company called Irregular Miniatures, also from the UK. They told me if I would relabel them as Irregular Miniatures and under the horse and musket genre, that they would sell more. I did sell some other ones. They came back. They liked the other two that we got, and then we sold another packet to the person who gave me the information for $19. It was also cool because normally I don't do this in messages, but Annetta, when she was packing these, she's like, people can't paint these. I was like, no, they can, because like they're 2mm, and she's like, I don't see how that they can paint them. So I actually messaged the person who bought the original two, and I said like, hey, I normally don't message people for stuff like this, but could you please send us pictures of some if you have them painted or the ones you bought from us? So they did send us some pictures. Really cool. And then they also like explained how they painted it in like a paragraph, and they thought it was cool that I thought it was cool. They had a really cool setup, and yeah, these are really tiny, so people can paint any size miniatures. This sold for $19. This is also weird because I was not aware of like the 2mm size. I was aware that miniatures could go down to 6mm, so definitely going to keep an eye out for 2mm stuff. There wasn't too much on eBay, or at least in the USA sellers. All right, moving along, a combo order of 2 music CDs. Joe Lovano right here. So we got one of these. It's like the library one. I don't know if that's good or bad for music collectors. And then we also have another library one right here. Same musician. So obviously this person was wanting to listen to this stuff. Got this stuff a long time ago. These are some really old listings. One of these was in my parents' garage listed this one. So it's been a while. So yeah, $15.24. I do like listing the physical media. Got some for cheap. I moved on from the media to, well, not moved on. I just have been finding like more stuff that's in my wheelhouse. So I've just been focused on that. But I do enjoy it, and there's a lot of people that like. I think if they're doing like media such as books and CDs, and then also there's one that I can't think of DVDs. DVDs. Oh, I think DVDs are. I think those are going to do better over time. Like I truly believe that, especially as more stuff becomes digital, and then when that digital stuff gets taken away for one reason or another, I think people are gonna go back to respecting some of the physical stuff because like you can listen to this forever as long as your a CD player doesn't break. Oh, look at that. CD players are pretty cheap to get another one. Or if the CD gets scratched right now, it's pretty cheap to get like other CDs. So I'm curious to see as the videos go on how valuable that stuff. Video games also, but like a lot of people understand video games are important or like there's a lot of collectors in it. Those a lot of those video games have a lot of like high prices already. Doesn't mean that they can't get higher. It just like means people realize that like when some of their digital games get taken away, they realize they can just like pop in. They have like a collection of 100 games that can last them a long time, and they do play them, appreciate them. We play our old games, we do appreciate them. So all right, moving along. Also, story with this one. We have this right here. This is going to be like a vintage baseball board game. This almost looks like handcrafted. I want to say this is probably from like the 90s or the 80s. It's supposed to be mimicking Wrigley Field right here in Chicago. It actually has a Cubs label on it. This one says 2014. So I thought this was older. It's 2004. I guess that's old enough at this point, right? A little bit more than 10 years. But yeah, this was a yard sale where do you know how you like go to a yard sale and there's different types of yard sales and sellers that you go to. There's some that are just like obviously other flippers just selling stuff perfectly fine. They can do that. There's we call them like the bait sales where like they'll show like 3 expensive video games on like this happened to us one time. I learned my lesson. They'll put like 3 expensive video games on like concrete and make it look messy, and they'll be like, "Oh, we're having a video game sale." And then when you go there, everything's like organized. They're basically like a vendor, and it's like, "Oh, okay. I can't flip anything here," which is fine. This felt like a true yard sale. It was this older lady. She was like in her mid 70s. She had her. It was adorable. She had her little notebook of a pencil, keeping track of everything she sold. She had all like the little garage sale stickers on everything for like quarters and 50 cents. So she had like really good prices. She had a bunch of ornaments and then like other collectibles. I saw her have these like unique board games. They were like 50 cents or $1, so I ended up getting them. And then she was asking me about board games, and I'm explaining to someone like older, like above the age of 70, like the board games I'm into. I'm trying to do it like I'm trying to tone it down, because like I'm not gonna be like, oh, I play Gloomhaven and it's like this dungeon crawler game. No, I was just explaining like it's popular right now. There's newer ones. They're not just Monopoly. And then she was really excited. She didn't have any more, or she might have. It's been a bit since this yard. She might have brought me out like a backgammon set, which I ended up selling. We're also telling her about like the eBay and how it works, and then she's just writing down everything. She saw Netta excited for the ornaments, so she personally got like this little like brown bag and put it in like a brown lunch bag for Netta, and she was also talking to Netta. So it was just like a really good, wholesome moments, like a really good yard sale, good vibes overall, cheap prices. So she didn't know where this came from, but I knew someone would appreciate it. This looks like a well done baseball game. Like this is pretty complex for like a game that's not like modern, right? There's like full on rules here. The piece, this almost looks like custom, or maybe it was at some kind of gift shop. Like I said, she didn't remember. $16.49. All right, moving along. I'm rambling a lot today, but I just have a lot to say. So this is going to be a PC game, maybe, question mark. This is called Magic Carpet. On the back, there's a bunch of commands that when you put this in, that your Magic Carpet, like you can move it can go back and forth, it can cast spells, destroy a castle, create a castle. So I'm not sure if this is game or if it's like one of those like screensaver little things that you get to play with on your screen. I'm gonna assume game for now, but like super cool, like unique one. I like to grab the unique stuff. This ended up selling for only $8.44, but I don't know, I just find it awesome. All right, another thing that I like selling, and it's I think also underrated, Legend of the Five Rings. This is the AEG. This is the collectible card game. There's over probably like 10,000 cards, maybe more, in the line of Legend of the Five Rings. It's going to be it's samurais and a bunch of different clans under like the rule of an emperor at the time. And then there's also like strife with the different clans. There's a lot of lore throughout the RPG books, the miniature games. There's multiple different card games. This is what a booster box was. Like a booster box is going to have 36 packs. They actually came in these tins, which is cool. I didn't realize that until I got these at auction. I got a huge Legend of the Five Rings collection for like $20. Got super lucky. A lot of people just kind of look past the Legend of the Five Rings. It is hard to research the cards, even for me. But yeah, the booster, I just got the whole collection. I was like, I'm going to dive into it. I know someone's going to appreciate it. This person spent $80 on this booster box. The only weird thing about this one was one of the booster packs was open, but the cards were still there. I included that in the description. This person also bought some Legend of the Five Rings stuff from me before. It is more niche, so I have to wait for like a Legend of the Rings, Legend of the Five Rings person to want something like this. But $80 is really good. That like just chunky sales with 97, 80. It's been a while since we had a day where we had like individual chunky sales. It's not a big deal. Is like the only thing that matters is like everything that comes into the bank. At the end of the day, that's the only thing that matters to pay for food and bills. That's like actually the only thing that matters. So if it's a bunch of like 30 items at like $10 or 15, that's still just as good as a couple of big items. But it's just nice to finally get some big sales. All right, moving along, we have this right here, vintage MCM. This is going to be like a drinking glass. It's like a cool green, like kind of like a clear green. We got to keep some of the stuff. Annetta got excited. She spent $10 on auction. She got this big bin of it. When she was bidding on it, or right before she bid on it, I was like, please don't. I don't want to deal with glass. And she's like, no, this is going to be really good. And I was like, okay, if you could get it for $10, like the minimum bid, like sure, I'll deal with it. And then she bid $10. She got it. No one else bid. I did have to deal with it. It was a lot of stuff because like sometimes on these auctions, like online, they'll show like a little picture, right? And I'm like, no, I can tell that those are not little glasses. That's going to be a big bin. And it was. When I was there, I was like, oh boy, over half of them sold. This one only sold for $9, but people do like the, color coding their MCM stuff or just their glasses for whatever reason, collecting or using them. It is like a cool emerald, like green or something like that, like a lighter one. So it was worth it. Would I do it again for $10? Probably, but it was painful. I don't have like a good system for storing a bunch of glass. These had to kind of go into two bins. It was one bin basically for itself with a couple small board game like cardboard tokens, so I knew that there's gonna be no like clanking of the tokens against the glass, wouldn't break it. And the other bin had a couple of stuffed animals, so like it has like its own like stuffed animal cushion right there. But that was the only way. I couldn't put them in like my other boxes or bins where there's like like I don't know, stuff. Well, not this particular big one, but like edges and corners and just like smushing and stuff like that. All right, that's everything. It was a pretty good day. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Hope everyone has a good week so far.